How do you keep your chords sounding clear and consistent even during a longer practice session or playing session with others? That's what we're going to get into in this lesson. Now, the key thing to understand here is what causes it. Because when you understand the cause, you can kind of get in ahead of it. And as that saying goes, what is it? Prevention is better than cure, right? Because once the fingertips get really sore, like rest is the thing to do. But sometimes we can't do that, especially if we're caught for practicing or if you're in the middle of a jam with others. So the first thing that does it is this. I taught guitar for 24 hours a couple of years ago, and I had two primary concerns. One was my voice. Would my voice last for 24 hours? The second was how my fingers would hold up. And what I discovered and what I used to get by it, and it worked, and especially for the participants, because there was 20 in each hour of the 24-hour lesson. So you had 20 people sitting down with the guitar for an hour. Some did multiple hours back to back. So I had to plan it out so that they wouldn't get super sore fingers. And here's what I discovered. It was that if I kept rotating the groups of chords that were used, it would use up the fingertips in different ways. Let me explain. If you go and play a ton of G, E minor, C and D songs, or whatever chords, or those four, well, the fingertips are getting hammered in the same exact spot every time. So watch this one here, if you play G a lot, this finger here is getting the pressure off the thin E string, the ring finger is getting the thin E string, pressing in on it, that thin narrow string, and eventually it keeps cutting in at that point. But then, if you play a C chord with the same finger, it's a thicker string. You're landing on with a different part of the finger, and so a different proportion of the finger is getting used. So instead of the same chords pressing into the exact same area of your fingertip each time, when you switch chords, it distributes the load more evenly. And of course with our keys, G, E minor, C and D will be used in a lot of songs. But then if you had songs that went A, D and E, they'd work well together as a different chord grouping. B minor 7, G, D and A would be another chord grouping, different keys. C, F and G, a song in the key of C. So to zoom out, if you were doing longer practice sessions or playing with others, I would order the songs to use different chords. So I'd pick the songs that had C's, F's and G's in them first, then I would do one of those, then maybe the next song would be the G, E minor, C and D song, then the next would be A, D and E, and the whole time you're using up different parts of the fingers and switching between the chords. And that way you wouldn't spend 30 minutes playing all your G, E minor, C and D songs. Plus, they'd all kind of sound the same after a while, even if you're using a capo. So that's the first thing, especially for playing with others or for playing your songs at home. The second thing is, well, what do you do if you really want to practice more? What I used to do on guitars, because my fingers used to get so sore in the beginning, I realised, I can practice strumming without chords. Does it sound nice? No, but I used to do that for a couple of minutes. I used to make every minute count on guitar. And how I did it was just that. The fingers would get a rest. Okay, or I'd press on a chord that I hadn't pressed on, or that was not so sore to press, like E minor as well. Same would go finger picking. If I had a pattern like this, again, I'd do stuff without fingers. I'd also look up chord theory, and I'd look up other things as well, just to keep my practice staying fresh as I went. And the other thing as well, and this, I began with this, a break is sometimes the thing to do. But even a 5-minute break can make all the difference to get back at it, especially if you're using that strategy of changing around the chord groups and changing around different patterns and things like that without using chords. Alright, hope you enjoyed this, and of course any questions, ask away in the thread, and I'll see you in the next lesson.